Okay sir, this is my own illustration about 4-gun safety rule. So the first rule is consider every gun as loaded. So the rule 1, all guns are loaded. Always, this simply means you must always treat every gun as if it's loaded. Always assume that every gun you come into contact with is loaded until you have physically verified yourself what condition the firearm is in. Don't ever rely on anyone's word for it. It's considered loaded if a round is in the chamber, or if any ammunition is in a magazine inside the firearm. If the propellant or a projectile is in the firearm, including in any internal magazine, the firearm is also considered loaded. If it is offense, if ammunition is really accessible to. The second rule is never let the muzzle of the gun point at anything you don't intend to shoot. So this is the most basic safety rule. If everyone handled the firearm so carefully that the muzzle never pointed at something they didn't intended to shoot, there would be virtually no firearms accidents. It's as simple as that. And it's up to you. Never point your gun at anything you do not intended to shoot. This is particularly important when loading or unloading a firearm. In the event of an accidental discharge, no injury can occur as long as the muzzle is pointing in a safe direction. A safe direction means a direction in which a bullet cannot possibly strike anyone, taking into account possible ricochet and the fact that bullets can penetrate walls and ceilings. The safe direction may be up on some occasions or down, or others, but never at anyone or anything not intended as a target. Even when dry firing with an unloaded gun, you should never point the gun at an unsafe target. Make it a habit to know exactly where the muzzle of your gun is pointing at all times, and be sure that you are in control of the direction in which the muzzle is pointing. Even if you fall or stumble, this is your responsibility and only you can control it. The third rule is keep your trigger finger off the trigger until you are ready to fire. So, responsible firearm use, that is the technical term trigger discipline, is probably what you're looking for. Trigger discipline is closely related to muscle discipline. The idea behind both being essentially the same. In the trigger's case, it refers to keeping your finger on the top of the trigger guard, where some modern pistols have a believed edge where your finger pads fits perfect. So basically, keeping your finger off the trigger until ready to shoot is trigger discipline. Now, muscle discipline is keeping the muzzle pointed in a safe direction until you're shooting. But a real firearm phenomenon is if you take someone you know shooting about guns and hand them a firearm, unload and safe. They always when palming it immediately but their finger on the trigger almost instinctively. Now the opposite happens when you hand it to an experienced gun user. They literally never touch the trigger, always resting it above, once again instinctively. The last rule and the fourth rule is be sure of your target and what's behind it. So, animals, people, buildings, or vehicles are behind your target or may drip into your line of fire. When recreational shooting, be certain that there is a very stiff bullet-proof backstop to catch your stray bullets and keep them from going somewhere not intended. If shooting against a hill, it must be very steep. Bullets will skip over a shallow hill and may hit someone at the top of the hill or even graze over the hill to the other side. Knowing what's behind your target is equally important. We don't all hit every target, and with some of our firearms, the projectile, be the pellet or solid slug, pass through around the game we are shooting at. Knowing that if we miss or it our shoot pass through the game, that they will fall or impact in a safe place is important. Looking beyond the animals, planning on your we have safe shots. before we take there is critical. If you are drive with each step you should be taking observation on the safe direction you can shoot and where you won't shoot. Hunters are responsible for their shots, but when they hit their targets and when they don't, their shots should fall on safe areas and on the property where should have permission to be hunting. Taking a risk on either of these issues is like in gambling. You gamble that you're right, but when you are not, the stakes are high. Other tag field of a big limit obtained is not worth a citation but destructive of property. A person injured or a person killed, remember to be certain of your target and what's beyond it. Safe hunting is no accident. And that's all for this video, sir, about 4 gun safety rules. Thank you for watching.